All right, I love Eddie Murphy. I mean, he's really one of my favorite entertainers of all time. The Nutty Professor will always hold a special place in my heart. Pretty much any project that this man signs up with, I will be there with a big smile on my face. But his last film, Coming to America, the sequel to the great 1988 classic film Coming to America, I think it's safe to say this movie wasn't that great. It wasn't that great, and it's kind of hard to say if you was disappointed or not because my expectations were super duper low. But now Mr. Murphy is back. Is it any good? Well, let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my You People review. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, guys, now we have You People, which is streaming right now on Netflix for you to enjoy from the comfort of your own home. Like I said before, it is starring Eddie Murphy, and I am a big fan of that man. This is being described as a romantic comedy, and I love those. I think everyone loves a great love story, especially if it's true and genuine. And we're going to talk about if this film does encompass all of that. Now, this is being directed by Mr. Kenya Barris. You can see this is what the gentleman looks like right here. And to be honest with you, if we scroll down and look at his filmography, I don't want to lie to you. I'm not the biggest fan of his previous work. I know that he was a writer on Coming to America, and like I said, that film was a bit disappointing. And I really did not like #Black as fuck AF. I thought that was a bit cringe-worthy. He did write Shaft that came out in 2019, and I did like that film a lot. I really did, but Girls Trip, he wrote that back in 2017. I wasn't a fan of that, but if you scroll here and just look at his filmography, he has had his hand in a number of things, which you can see that a lot of people that look like me kind of like. I did not see Intergalactic, but I heard nothing but good things, so I need to check it out, but now we're here for You People. And also, this is his directorial debut, so we can see how talented he is behind the camera. Now, if you did not know, this is kind of a loose remake of the film Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which came out in 1967. Let me know in the comment section if you have seen that film with Mr. Sidney Poitier. I have not, but again, let me know if you have seen it. But something also that gets me excited about this film is the cast. Not only do you have Eddie Murphy, but you also have Jonah Hill, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Lauren London, and also Nia Long, and I am a fan of all of those performers. But before I get into all the nitty-gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film is all about. Follows a new couple and their families who find themselves examining modern love and family dynamics amidst clashing cultures, societal expectations, and generational differences. All right, so first off, I just want to say that I really did like this film. I really did enjoy it, especially with the cast. My expectations were mediocre to high with everybody involved, and I'm not disappointed. I will go ahead and say that right now. First thing that I did like about the movie is it is being described as a comedy of romance, a romantic comedy, and you do have the romance there, but you also have the comedy. I mean, I was laughing throughout this movie. Not out loud completely where I'm screaming, but there were a number of times where I was chuckling to myself back and forth, and it did give me that overall good feeling that I wanted going into this film. Another reason why it is so great and funny is the cast. Now, I talked about Eddie Murphy, but I want to talk about Jonah Hill for a second. This man has always been funny to me ever since 2005, 2006, I think around that time where he popped up on the scene. For me, he's always been a funny character. He's always been a funny actor, a funny performer. Not just funny, he can also play those serious roles as well, but he does lean on the comedy a bit for me, and it works. And one of the things that I like about Jonah Hill's real life personality is how he brings that into the roles that he plays. And he does that here with the character that he's playing by the name of Ezra. And Ezra is hilarious. He is a type of character that will say out loud what everyone is thinking, that everyone is too afraid of, but he's bold, he's courageous, he's just going to go ahead and say it whether it's by himself or around a group of people. If it's on his mind, it is going to come out of his mouth. And within this film, it does make for a lot of great jokes that I really did like. He's also a bit socially awkward. I've been there too before, when you don't know how to accept just a normal greeting from somebody. I mean, have you ever been in a situation to where you're about to board a plane and the attendant said, "Hey, okay, enjoy your flight," and you reply, "You too," just trying to be polite, but that doesn't make any sense because the attendant is not getting on a flight. So that greeting or departure only applies to you and not them. And when you reply that way, it can make it a bit awkward. That is Ezra all over this movie. That is me sometime in real life. And so when that was going down in this movie, it did make me smile. It did make me laugh. It did have me having a happy time. And he's not the only one funny in this movie. Pretty much everybody is funny in this movie, just the way they're bouncing off and reacting to each other when they're trying to get to know one another. And what's great about this film is it's quite bold as far as race relations and culture and religion is concerned. You can also call this like black people versus Jewish people if you wanted to, but not on a serious tone, but in a more comedic one. And that's great. And director Kenya Barris does do a great job of addressing not everything, but a lot of things that goes on in black culture and Jewish culture that a lot of people may be afraid to address, but this film puts it on Front Street for everyone to have a great time. I do love that. There are a number of scenes where Ezra is trying to get to know the parents, played by Eddie Murphy, Akbar, and also Nia Long. And also when there is a larger dinner of the two families as they're coming together. All of that right there was hilarious. I loved it all. There's a lot of preconceived notions, a lot of assumptions, and a lot of stereotypes that are being thrown back and forth. And they do that with tender love and care, and I really did appreciate it. I don't think anyone is going to get offended by this at all because this is a comedy, but I love everything that this film dealt with between those two cultures. I thought that was brilliant. So shout out to Kenya Barris for that. And the film doesn't hold back either. It shoves it in your face without it being too intruding. And I like that. That could have failed miserably, but this film had a nice balance to it. And like I said, I really do appreciate that. Also in life, when there is someone outside of the culture, they can always try to come across nice and genuine, like they're just trying to understand you. And one thing that I really do like about Julia's character, Shelly, in this film, she's very cringeworthy. She's very tone deaf and says a lot of offensive things, but she doesn't mean to. And she's trying to be honest, genuine, and pure, but it just doesn't come across that way. It can come off quite rude and ridiculous at times. And I like the way that's addressed. Sometimes someone in life can have the best intentions, but they're coming off very, very disrespectful, and it can rub you the wrong way. So the way they infused it into this film, again, I thought was brilliant. And also the romance is there as well. I never would pair Jonah Hill and Lauren London together in a romantic comedy. And their initial meetup was a bit suspect, but once the montage kicked off to show their love and their dating, I did like it. It did come off very, very genuine, and I did appreciate that too. I mean, it was an odd couple to me, in my opinion, but it still worked. And another thing is, I didn't know how this film was going to end. It was quite surprising to me, especially with all these romantic comedies. You can always predict how the third act is going to play out when things are transitioning from the second and third act. There's always some type of fallout and then some reconnection, you know, right before the film ends. Of course, they had that here, but I did not know how it was going to end. I also liked a number of cameos in this film as well, from the Jewish community and the black community as well. These people that popped up are often talking about these things in any other platform that they have for their own entertainment. And so that was a nice addition as well. But overall, guys, this was just a fun movie that you can easily enjoy in the comfort of your own home. It has a lot of popular people in the cast that you know and love from the past few years and the past few decades. And I really do like the way they address the black and the Jewish culture and the way that all came together in this film. I had a good time. As far as my complaints are concerned, I really don't have any. I think the director did get a little carried away with some of his creative decisions when it comes to the editing and the way he was trying to transition into different scenes from other scenes. That was a bit much. He could have toned that down just a little bit, but of course it's nothing as much to where it would ruin the film or, you know, turn you off or anything like that. It's just a small little gripe that's really no big deal. But overall, overall, guys, I really did enjoy this, and I will give my rating for this at the very end. But for now, guys, that is just my opinion, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give me the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you can see more of my content as well. If you do decide to subscribe, you will get movie reviews, you will get spoiler reviews, interviews, series reviews, weekly movie news roundup show, and some trailer reactions. But guys, if I had to rate You People on Netflix out of a 1 out of 10, I would give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. Yes, an 8 out of 10. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.